Everyone thought she was screaming in fear. But if you listen closely, it wasn't fear at all. It was defiance. The sound of a soldier remembering who she really was. The rotors thundered above the canyon as 3 police officers gripped her arms, their faces pale with confusion and anger. Captain Riley Hale, once a decorated combat pilot, now stood accused of treason she didn't commit. Her wrists, cold in steel cuffs, dug into her skin as she stared at the ground spinning thousands of feet below. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. The officers shouted over the roar of the wind, calling her traitor, liar, murderer. None of them knew the truth, that she'd uncovered a smuggling ring inside their own department. That her arrest wasn't justice. It was silencing. She had less than a minute before they'd do it. The oldest officer, the one with trembling hands, looked away when she met his eyes. Maybe he saw it there, the calm of someone who's already accepted her fate. But Riley wasn't planning to die. As the helicopter tilted, one officer shoved her toward the open hatch. The desert below stretched endlessly, golden and cruel. The air whipped through her hair, her heart slamming against her ribs. "Any last words?" one of them yelled. She smiled. "Yeah, you might want to hold on." Then, she jumped. For a heartbeat, time broke apart. The officers gasped, one shouting for the pilot to circle back, the other cursing that she was gone. But as she fell, Riley twisted her wrists. The cuffs, cheap foreign-made, snapped against a hidden pin from the seam of her sleeve. She'd done this maneuver once before, over enemy lines. Back then, she had a chute. Today, she had something else. Her body knifed through the air, angling toward a dark ridge. Below it, a hidden convoy of armored trucks. Her trucks, the ones she'd called in when she realized what was coming. Wind screamed in her ears, her vision blurring. She could barely make out the landing zone. 1,000 feet, 600, 200. Then the net fired. A spring-loaded rescue net shot upward from the convoy, catching her in a shock of sand and heat. The moment she hit it, she rolled, gasping, laughing, alive. The men on the ground ran toward her. Soldiers from her old unit, faces streaked with dust. "Captain Hale, ma'am," one shouted, gripping her arm. "We've got the signal. They're transmitting everything." High above, the helicopter banked hard. The cops inside saw the military trucks below and realized the woman they'd just thrown out wasn't their prisoner anymore. She was their reckoning. Within minutes, the air crackled with radio chatter. The smuggling operation, buried for months, was live-streamed from her unit's helmets. Evidence, names, locations, all transmitted to command. And for the first time in months, Riley didn't feel hunted. She felt whole. When the helicopter tried to flee, a pair of military choppers appeared on the horizon, their insignias bright against the sun. The officers inside dropped their weapons, trembling, as soldiers surrounded them on the landing strip. Riley stood watching, her wrists still raw from the cuffs. "You tried to throw me out," she said softly, when one officer passed her. "But sometimes falling is just another way to fly." He didn't answer. He couldn't. Hours later, as the sun bled into the desert sky, Riley sat beside her convoy, sipping cold water from a tin cup. The world was quiet again, the kind of quiet that follows truth. Because courage doesn't need permission, it just needs a moment to breathe. And sometimes, the fall that should have broken you is the one that sets you free. If you felt her courage today, share this story, and tell me in the comments what you would have done in her place. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories of courage, justice, and the people who refuse to fall.